Since day one, the Galaxy Note has always been about size. Competitors mocked it at first, but as the Joker would say,
"There's no going back. You've changed things."
This phone is responsible for making every other device go big or go home, so it only makes the strategy for 2019 all the more baffling. Today, we have a Note 10 and a Note 10 Plus, and for those of you wondering why you would ever consider a smaller Galaxy Note, it's time for us to compare. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and this is Galaxy Note 10 versus Galaxy Note 10 Plus. A lot of interesting phenomenons have happened over the last couple of years where we've seen screens getting larger, but really what we're getting is a taller phone, not necessarily more surface area. We've seen bezels die to nearly edge-to-edge designs, but with the caveat that the less bezels you have, the easier it is to press anything by accident because there's nothing really there to cover it up. So I think it's one of the main reasons why Samsung has decided to follow on the Galaxy S strategy and give us a choice with the Galaxy Note. The problem is that you're not just giving up on size differences, there are actually some substantial differences between the Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus. Let me start this video with those. Side by side, they look nearly the same and feel just as high quality, with the obvious differences in heft. The Plus is 11mm taller, 6mm wider, and 28 grams heavier, even if both phones are the same thickness. Both our units are Aurora Glow, which is gorgeous so long as you can keep it clean. Oddly, there are more color options for the smaller Note 10 than for the Plus, and then there's the case where storage options are influenced by the color you pick in certain cases. The second difference is the display. Yes, these are both gorgeous dynamic AMOLED panels that have yet to be rivaled by competitors. Those of you who value brightness and color reproduction, either of these will be great options. What varies, though, is obviously the screen size at 6.3 inches versus 6.8, but also screen resolution. See, both are shipped with Full HD Plus resolutions by default, but only the Plus can go Quad HD Plus in the settings. Neither phone has a headphone jack, which is sad, but both include the advantage of dual firing speakers and where the earpiece is so well hidden that you won't be able to cover it. Best of all, each device includes either the less secure facial recognition or the option for the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner on the display. And the third is the case for internals, where there are some things you should consider. Both include the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855, IP68 water and dust resistance, reverse wireless charging, Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5. Now, what varies is that the Plus brings 4 more gigs of RAM, has options for double the storage, it has expandability, and obviously it brings a larger battery, it supports a faster but optional 45-watt charger, and only the Note 10 Plus brings a 5G variant if you look for it. Now, you'd think that the differences in power pack on the Note 10 Plus would bring it substantially better battery life when compared to the Note 10 if you would have both displays at Full HD Plus resolution, but as it turns out, the differences aren't really major. I mean, you'll end the day with the Note 10 just fine, and the Note 10 Plus will give you a little extra juice. But really, the only reason why I would ever drift to the Note 10 would be because of its advantages in ergonomics. Volume buttons are really only reachable on the smaller variant, and if you're gonna have to reach the left side for the power button, might as well do it on less of a canvas. And yes, no worries, you can disable the Bixby functionality on both. But then let's drift into the section where both these phones are technically not that much different. Let's start with the cameras. If you were to dive into the spec sheet, both devices have nearly the same hardware. Same standard telephoto and wide-angle camera at the back. This means that if you were to stack the photos on each device side by side, I doubt you'd be able to tell the difference. Those of you depending on image quality to determine which note to pick, this is one department where you should not worry. Both have the versatility of 3 focal lengths and produce great photos in amazing color and detail, and low light performance is also good on both. And if you were to flip to selfie performance, both devices have the same camera on the Infinity O punch hole. Samsung offers 2 focal lengths, which are more software than anything, the wide option being my favorite, and portrait photography from both being nearly decent. Now, also keep in mind that each device will provide 4K video recording from the selfie shooter. And you can't switch the focal lengths on the primary shooters if you were recording in 4K. Yes, you do have the option on both devices for super steady video, which now evolves to support 2 focal lengths as well, but which I'll admit I rarely use because it's limited to 1080p. Really, the only major difference on both cameras is the experience with the time of flight sensor on the Note 10 Plus, which should theoretically help you get better portraits from the main camera. But in real life, I don't really see much of a difference. Heck, I even thought that the whole AR doodle feature would be limited to the Note 10 Plus because of the added depth sensor, but no, the service works on both phones pretty much the same. Now, if we were to move to the section where both devices are nearly identical, let's talk about One UI on top of Android 9 Pie. Really, I've noticed that it seems that Samsung is handling RAM differently on both phones. I mean, each has the same applications installed, and yet the Note 10 has proportionally more RAM left over than the Note 10 Plus. As a result, I find the experience of using One UI nearly the same on each device. I wish I could tell you that it feels even slightly faster on the Note 10 Plus, but I doubt you'll be able to tell the difference. Those looking for secure folder or edge menus or app pairs, all my favorite reasons for using a Galaxy are here. Both devices support DeX on the PC or Mac, and you will be getting notifications on both if you use Windows, that's all there. And even if we were to move to the S Pen, you could technically swap both pens on either device, and you won't be able to tell the difference, which also means that the experience is pretty much the same. Air gestures work on both, so you can disable them just as quick as I did. We've got the new vertical menu for quick interaction, and screen-off memos that you can save and later index are all here. Those of you that enjoy that feel of the S Pen tip on the screen, which mimics that of a Sharpie on paper, it's the same exact experience on both. To conclude, I guess the biggest question is which Galaxy Note 10 is right for you. I have to admit that during my hands-on, I felt that the sleeper hit would be the Galaxy Note 10. I mean, you've got all the features that matter when compared to the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, but in a smaller, more ergonomic package. I thought that this would be my favorite. Sadly, I'll admit that I decided to go for the larger Note 10 Plus, and it's for a few reasons. When it comes to note-taking, I do value a larger canvas, and second is really what you get for the price. With the S10 and S10 Plus, the differences were really just the depth sensor and the battery size. Here, you have more of a compromise. For only $150 more, you have more RAM, expandable storage, more screen resolution, more battery life, faster charging, and hopefully some sort of benefit when it comes to the time of flight sensor. I do feel that both phones are overpriced, but even more so the smaller Note 10, and I'm trying to understand the logic why the company would water down certain features and then charge such a small difference. If there were a price difference of around $250, then I'd think differently. What about you? Which is your favorite Galaxy Note? Let us know in the comments down below, and while you're at it, follow us on social media as our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and also subscribe to both our channels for more videos like this one. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.